This is not one of my many 90s nostalgia throwback fashions. It's simply the only way that I could figure out how to hook this microphone on with a t-shirt. This was a very Pisces moon t-shirt. It had to be done. It's the full moon in Pisces, and we are gonna feel the feels, which is why we're feeling feelings on my t-shirt. So if you have been feeling the feels, or if you you're getting ready to feel the feels, then this is the reading for you. I'm Shea Walker. I'm an intuitive coach, a Reiki teacher, an Oracle deck creator, and I am here as your Pisces moon representative to guide you through these emotional waters. So if you are unfamiliar with these readings, we do them on the new and full moon every month. There's a general collective reading that you're probably watching right now on YouTube or Instagram. And then there is an extended reading that happens over on my Patreon. So this general collective reading is a test. It is you checking in with your intuition, checking in to see if the story that I'm telling here resonates for you. And if it does, then we're going to hop over to the Patreon and do an extended reading to dive in deeper to the topic at hand. Sometimes I switch things up and do all signs or elemental readings, but today I'm being called to just do a general reading and maybe pull a few more cards than normal. Normally I would just do an energy and advice card, but this time we're going to do less readings in quantity, but more cards in quantity. We're going to start off with the Total Betty Goddess deck, otherwise known as the Total Betty 2.0 deck, which is currently available for pre-order over at Indiegogo. You can check the links below. And I want to tell you that if you're even kind of interested in this deck, the price will be going up at the end of the Indiegogo campaign, which is September 19th. It might even be as much as double the current price. So if you want to save on it and also support the first printing of this copy, which is so integral to the process of getting a small business product made, head over to Indiegogo.com, links are below, or I've even made it simple for you and made a tiny URL that's easy to remember. So tinyurl.com/TotalBetty if you're watching this someplace like Instagram where you can't click the links below and you just don't feel like going over to the links in bio. Without further ado, we're going to shuffle up this deck and I'm going to tell us what the energy of this Pisces moon is based on these 90s goddesses. Okay, so, we've got a jumper. Oh God. Okay, hang on. So our goddess of the moment is Hygeia, played by Gwyneth Paltrow as Stella in Great Expectations. So this card feels so appropriate, not so much for our Pisces moon, but for the fact that the sun is in Virgo. This is big Virgo energy. It's very much being able to cleanse your life of the unnecessary. As Stella in Great Expectations does it in a not so healthy way, we're going to try to do it in a healthy way during this Virgo season. So it's a really good time to look at your life as if it is a machine and look at all the individual parts and see how they are moving together. Does anything need to be repaired? Does anything need to be oiled? Does anything need to be replaced? Is there something in your life that is mucking up the works to create a well-oiled running machine? Whatever that is kind of the focus of this reading starting out. For some of you, it's going to be that there's a health aspect that you're trying to iron out. So maybe you need to go to the doctor about something that's bothering you, or maybe you just need to start taking your vitamins every day. Maybe you need to eat a vegetable, preferably something leafy and green. Take it from a trained holistic health coach. If you're going to do just one thing to improve your health, well, if you're going to do 2 things, drink more water and at least eat 1 green vegetable a day. For some of us, it's a job aspect thing. Maybe there is a place of work that's not doing well for your mental health and you need to figure out if that's a place that you still want to be. Maybe you are in a situation where the actual environment that you're working in is not great for you. There are plenty highly sensitive creatures like myself that don't thrive in areas that have buzzing fluorescent lights and no sunshine. Reevaluate these areas of your life that are feeling less than ideal for your optimal running programming and start cleansing out what's not working. And just like any cleanse, it can be a little uncomfortable at first and it doesn't have to happen all at once. So just like if you were going on a juice cleanse and you're trying to go back to eating food as normal, you want to start with the stuff that's easier to digest and move forward into your normal diet eventually. So with these changes, you're going to make the change, but allow time for that to kind of settle into your system. And that could be that you are just cutting back at the hours that you work in the toxic work environment. It could be that you are easing the one vegetable into your diet per day and maybe working way up to drinking more water. It's about integrating things in a way that feels digestible for you on both a physical, actual level and on a mental and spiritual level. And Virgo season perfectly supports this because Virgo is about cleansing things out and organizing things and making sure that things are running optimally so that you are a well-oiled machine. So with that in mind, we're going to dive into our cards. And as promised, I'm going to do more than just an energy advice. So with our Modern Witch Tarot, we're going to do an areas of life reading. So we're going to do a general energy card for health, wealth, love, and self, because I like a rhyme. And if we need to pull a couple cards to clarify, we will. Oh, we got a health. Up next, wealth. Got a jumper. Love or relationships, key relationships in your life, whether it be romantic or otherwise. Got a jumper. And self. Oh, got an immediate jumper. Okay, so for health, we have the Eight of Wands. So this means that you are getting some intuitive messages from your body in regards to what is best for your health right now. And maybe you've been ignoring them, maybe you've been listening. I am an energy healer and I specialize in reading the energy of the body and pinpointing what energetically is causing physical ailments. It is my belief that every physical ailment in the entire world starts on an energetic level. And if you learn how to read the energetic level messages that are being sent to you, the physical body won't get quite as far gone as if you were to ignore the emotions and keep letting the physical symptoms progress. So usually if we are ignoring our emotions, we're ignoring our emotions. And the body kicks in with a subtle pain, kink, discomfort in some physical area of the life. If you are in tune enough to recognize that that is a sign and you can follow it back to what it might mean, then you prevent that from getting worse. But most of us are not that in tune. We like to kind of power forward in our lives and we just keep progressing forward. So then it gets louder and louder and louder. So the emotional body speaks to you through the physical body, and then the physical body will amplify that message based on the period of time that you choose to ignore it. So if you're familiar with the chakras, that's a really great baseline to figure out kind of what's happening in your body. Even if a body part is not directly connected to a chakra up the center line of your channel, it is connected to a chakra energetically because those chakras branch out into other areas of the body. If you work with a healer, like a Reiki healer like myself, that's a really great place to start as well. If you are feeling like something's just a little off, you can find someone to kind of translate that energy for you. Or if you're interested in learning more about it yourself, I offer a Become Your Own Healer training, which you can find at the links below, where I break down all of the chakras and different body parts and how they're connected to these different emotional centers and what different sensations in them might mean. But what we're talking about here is listening to your intuition ultimately. So don't be a to your body and ignore these signals that they're trying to send you. They're trying to prevent you from having further stress down the line by listening to the tiny little pains and twinges and maybe even just sort of weirdness that's happening. Meditations and body scans are also a really great resource here. So if you don't have a regular meditation practice, I highly recommend you start one, especially one that involves a physical body scan. Yoga Nidra is a good element of this. I have a meditation on my website called the Smile Meditation that involves a little miniature version of the body scan. And I also always start every single one of my restorative classes with a body scan. So if you're interested in taking a class with me, there's online streaming available at the studio that I currently teach at. So I'll put a link to that below as well. So moving from health into wealth, we have a very fitting card, the Two of Pentacles. Pentacles are the wealth and abundance cards of the tarot. And the Two of Pentacles is indicating that you might be trying to juggle a little too much in regards to calling in abundance. There's a feeling of needing to create balance with the feelings of lack and the feelings of wealth. Because if we focus too much on the lack of abundance in our lives, we block the entrance of more abundance. So if you've been staring at the lack for a while, you need to shift your focus. But also, if you've been too focused on the material world, if you've been thinking of abundance as solely being able to buy that car or that house or that new shiny object, this is a sign that you need to actually focus on the abundance that's happening in your spiritual life, in your emotional life, the other areas of your life where you are calling in really beautiful and enriching things that may not buy you things. It also could be a sign that you are choosing between two different career paths, and it's time to make that decision, to recognize that one of these is going to serve you much better in regards to wealth, and the other one is not. And side note, it's not always the one that you think in those situations, because if you choose a job that you hate just because it has a higher salary, you're going to burn out much faster. You might end up quitting down the line. You're not going to get the perks in the long run. Whereas if you have a job that you really love and you have a lot of energy to do, it may pay a little less, but it's going to grow over time, and you're going to be much more sustainable in that field because you love what you do. So if you're looking to choose between two careers right now, look at it from a big picture endurance perspective and see which one is going to be the most fulfilling long term. Moving from wealth into love and or relationships, so vital relationships in your life, we have the Judgment card. Now, having judgment in your love sector may feel like it's a little triggering that you're being judged by those around you, but that's not actually what this is about. This is about you judging your own purpose, your own path, your own history in this topic, in this area of your life. It's kind of like an end of life review. So you're not having an end of life, but you are taking a moment here to take stock and to look back at your patterns in love and relationship and pick what works and leave behind what doesn't, because this also represents a little rebirth. This is kind of your resurrection into a new paradigm in regards to love and relationships. And you get to choose what you take with you and what you leave behind. So I encourage you to make a list somewhere, because writing things down is really helpful, and you can also look back on it later and see how relationships and romantic life and the way that you deal with those things have served you in the past, the blessings that you've gotten from those connections, and the things that you really don't feel that proud about that you want to leave behind. And it could be the things that you've been manifesting in partners, or it could be the way that you've been behaving in relationships as well that are patterns that you want to release. And the full moon is all about releasing. So it's a beautiful time to do it. Once you've made that list underneath the full moon, you can always take the things that you want to leave behind and burn it or destroy it in some way. So if you're into rituals, that's a really good one to embark upon underneath the full moon. And ultimately, it's a sign that you are available to fresh new energy within this area of your life. So if you feel like you're repeating a pattern over and over again, this energy is giving you a fresh start. The beginning of September, Venus goes direct after being retrograde. So that's a really good time period for a reset in the cycle, and that's coming up right around the corner. What do you really want love and relationships to look like moving forward as you move into this clean slate? So moving on from love and relationships into the self, our final card for the general collective is the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is a card of letting go of the fight, but more so internally in this case. So there's a little element of you sort of spinning arguments in your head and kind of being your own worst enemy. And you're really being called to let go of that habit. And I know I felt this in my life a lot lately. As a child that grew up in a household where I had to anticipate the needs of the adults around me, I feel like I'm constantly trying to anticipate what is wrong in a situation, and that includes within myself. So I've recently started to break down those thought patterns where I'm just constantly spinning the scanner within my mind, within my body, within my life to look for what needs to be fixed. And my new mantra for myself is, I am perfect as I am. I do not need to be fixed. So if that resonates for you, I think that that's going to be the biggest topic for our extended reading. We'll also look a little bit into these other areas of life as well, but that spinning of the mind, the mental health aspect of this feels so important, especially under a Pisces moon, where you're going to be feeling a lot more of the feels. So if you're looking to break down patterns of self-defeat or self-judgment, let's dive into the extended reading. And if you are watching on the Patreon, the rest of your reading starts right now.